It's a little odd, isn't it? This this big room and sitting here on my own. I certainly miss you guys a lot. I'm incredibly grateful for all the tools that we have to connect right now. It's really amazing. In the time that we are in to, wanting to stay apart to help slow the spread of the virus and to kind of flatten that curve. But it's crazy to not be seeing you guys face to face, and I'm so grateful for Zoom and YouTube and all those things so that we can continue to stay engaged. And I heard somebody say something recently to the effect of it's not so much social distancing as it is physical distancing. And in a way, that's true. It's just physical distancing that we're trying to accomplish, but there is a social component of that too, and you can feel that. You can feel that distance between us as even as we connect on Zoom and as we connect on YouTube and all of those places. It's like it's the same, but it's just not, And it makes us long for the day, which will come, that we can come back together and that we can be together, that we can worship side by side. And I am looking forward to that day coming. But until then, we utilize Zoom and we utilize YouTube to be able to connect with each other and see each other's smiling faces and to be able to dive into the Word and talk a little bit about it. And as I was kind of thinking about that, I was thinking about, how great these tools are, but really all that they do is show a poor reflection of the real thing, right? Like it's all awesome and fantastic, but it's really just a poor version of the real deal. And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about there's a verse in 1 Corinthians that I wanted to share with you. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and it comes out of verse 12. And this is after all the love chapter where he's talking about what love really looks like, and as really an example for the church and the way that the church should be operating and living. And so he gets to the end of this chapter where he's talking about all these different things about how love looks and what it should look like. And he gets to the end of that chapter in verse 12 and he says this: "Now we see but a poor reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known." I love that verse. Molly and I actually, while we were at Harding, actually got to travel to Corinth and to be able to be in Corinth for several days. And one of the things we got to do is there's a museum that we got to go to there. And while we were there, they had, in this museum, they had what was an ancient mirror. And it was a piece of metal that was polished fairly highly. But as you can imagine, even a piece of metal that's polished pretty highly and allows you to see some of your reflection, which, we kind of miss that like knowing in such detail of what your own face looks like. But then, like that wasn't something that was so common. You didn't have these mirrors like the mirrors that we have now. You look into them and you're seeing almost an exact representation of who you are when you look into a mirror. Unless you're looking into a funhouse mirror, which I don't know why you would have that in your house, but that's besides the point. But when we looked at the mirror in that museum, you got the feeling for what this scripture is trying to say. And that is that reflection, it's a poor reflection. When you look at your face in that, in that polished piece of metal, it's not an accurate reflection of what you look like. It's close, but it's not the real deal because there's waves to it and there's imperfections in it, and it just doesn't do the real thing. And as I was reading through that, I thought, man, that's so cool because he's talking about love here, and he's talking about, what love looks like. And he goes through talking about all of this. And he says in the end that, even when we get it right, even when the church gets it really right, it's still a poor reflection of what real, true love looks like. And we won't really know what that really looks like until we see it face to face. And I love that because I love to think about what is that like? You know, if right now, at the best that we can get, if we have the best of the best moment, and I can get a picture of that and say, that is heaven. And the writer here, Paul says, look, it is awesome. But really, the best of our best is only a poor reflection of the real thing. Look forward to the day that you be able to see love face to face. Get ready for the moment when you fully know and you are fully known by God. Like understanding what that feeling is like, what that experience is like. And so, you know, as we're going through all of this physical distancing that we're doing, and we're doing Zoom and we're doing YouTube, and we're like, man, it's good, but reality is that it's just a poor reflection of the real deal. I want you to be thinking about this. Maybe every time you even think about that, or every time you feel that, is remember this, that when we get back together, the day that we come back together, that we're worshiping side by side, face to face, giving hugs, sharing cups of coffee together in this room again, remember, as good as that will be, even that is a poor reflection of what it will be like to be with God face to face, knowing him fully and being fully known. That's a day that I long for, and I hope that it is one that you long for too. And until the time that comes where we can be together again, I hope that you're having a great week, and I hope that you will continue to engage with all of our online and digital communications that we're having. I'm thankful to have you there at those and to see your faces in those places where we can. Have a great weekend.